Well, good morning from Minnesota. I'm testing out the movie function of my camera, and at the same time I'd like to get a update for you about what I've been up to. I've been gone from Facebook for a while, and springtime is really busy at the farm, and that's what I've been up to. So anyway, we'll start with the garden, and there's some lavender, and I just healed the red cabbage plants today, and I want you to get kind of a view of the currants that are in back of the crystals and some of my favorite rocks, my old Jesus shoes. So I've had a lot of shoes just kind of come off in the garden here. There's some more rocks and another crystal and my cabbage. Fresh dirt, freshly healed. Some rhubarb, my little tomato plant. I see that somebody has been eating my kohlrabi, but oh well. Now that one, they ate it clean off the top. Huh. So here's rhubarb, and this is something that Alyssa, Steve's granddaughter, planted in this garden, and we've had multitudes of them coming up, the little violets. Those are money plants. These things with seeds. And then what's really nice to watch from the house is this columbine and the phlox when they start blooming, because the bees and hummingbirds really like that. And then I think the rabbits are, maybe it's the rabbits, maybe it's the chipmunks eating the kohlrabi, so I always plant extra of everything. My irises. I'll show you the view from the front and then walk around the back. They're looking pretty good for the extreme kind of heat that we've been having, and before that it was pretty extreme cold, but I'm working on that, and I've gotten some new lily of the valleys in there, and we'll be filling in that some more with irises. But in back of there's a bunch of raspberries. Put on some body armor to get into that. Yeah, thistle. Oh, there's a bee. Here you go, you guys. Some plants that I've gotten out of the back 40. I'm not sure exactly what those are, but I think they're kind of cool. You seem to like the shade back here. Got another oak tree coming up here. But I wanted to go around to this side so that I can give you guys the viewpoint of the frog. I don't know if you met my pet frog, but this is where he's situated, and this is what he has to look at like all day. He can watch people come and go in the driveway, and he can see the horses when they're coming up for water. So there's my frog, and there's his viewpoint. There's the truck. And so yeah, I think that this works out pretty good for him. He seems relaxed about it. He can watch the irises and the bees, and he can see the rabbits come by and saw off my vegetables if they want to. Here's my tomato plant. Okay, we're gonna head over to the other garden. I haven't been able to get out here because for the past 3 days it's been like 96 and sometimes plus. Oh, look at that big bee! Wow! Steve was telling me about the super bee that he saw out in the garden, and he said that he saw it flying way above the silo. It was like one of those big, huge ones. But this one is pretty impressive too, I think. So yeah, I mean, the silo is like 50 yards away, and here's what I did with my extra paint. I've been doing a lot of oil painting, and I don't like to waste paint, and so when I'm done with it, I do just the cleaning of the pellets on my shirts and pants. And this one's in progress. That one has a long ways to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Stepped on the side of this plant. I haven't been able to get out here to weed because it's just been too hot, but keeping it watered anyway, and I see that my peppers are doing pretty good. And I'll have lots of beets. I need to get in here and till and weed. But I think I'll have to maybe put that off because it's supposed to be a continued hot week. Here we have a couple rows of asparagus that we need to mow, and of course you guys will notice this is our lawn. Yeah, look at how long the grass is, man. I'll show you the neighbor's lawn too, because his place is for sale. It hasn't been selling, and I think that the difference here that people would buy our place first. It got more trees, more grass, more vegetables. There's a peek at their brown lawn. They keep it really, really short. Oh, I was going to tell you about Mary Washington too. The thing about this is that I was wrestling with the tree trunk, which was okay. So that size was a big turf of grass overgrown it, and so I was ripping off the turf, and I got like down to my elbows or more underground to get some asparagus roots off from at least the top, because I think it was just getting like way too crowded, and she was having a hard time like growing anymore. So yes, I basically wrestled Mary Washington for, you know, the root ball that was the size of a tree trunk, and chopped that off. But I think that she likes it that way because I see that she's still coming up in this extreme heat. It's funny. These are my trees. I try and stay away from these particular trees, which are mulberry. And I know they look bad now, but they do come into leaves later. We don't spray either. So that's where you can lose things. But this is another big cherry tree. Got our choke cherries. They're kind of small over there. We're coming up on my rose arbor that, if you guys are in the area sometime, this is where we could, ouch, I got a sliver in my foot. This is where we can sit and have some tea and look at the cherry tree. And I just really love this this other tree here. It's kind of gnarly looking, but it's twisty. This is the bean tree. Isn't that something how long those beans are? You see them? And then, of course, I have done art of a lot of this stuff, and especially this bean tree is fascinating once it gets going. It's starting to bud. So, there's a blossom. Here's one. So I'd guess that this one maybe in about another week and a half and Okay, what else we got here? Some Saskatoons. Those are doing pretty well for what they've been through. And then today, one of the things that I was going to do before I noticed that I needed to hill vegetables was come out here and get some juniper berries. And these are what I use for making cedar oil. These ends. This is Cedar Hill Farm, so we have a lot of these. And oh, I have to tell you, they smell divine. When they're fresh, this is not like heavy woody. These are so fresh and green smelling and like, I don't know what to tell you, flowery. We're coming up on my apples. I had just taken a bunch of these as pictures when they bloom, but see what I mean? I'm gonna have apples to peel. Apples. There's the apples. More apples. All different variety of apples. There's State Fair and Harrelson and I don't know what that one is, but I had somebody name some mushrooms that came up under this tree. We couldn't figure out what they were and decided to call them Jesus mushrooms because they're white. So, and then I have the plum tree, and I think these are looking really pretty good too, especially this one. Wow. I can't believe how tough these things can be, and with the really extreme kind of weather that we've had, really, I think it's global warming. And that's pretty all by itself. There's a spot in here where deer, way back in there, I kind of stay away from certain spots because, and then we have the wild black raspberry back in there, but lately I've been staying out of that patch of them for picking them because I could get gallons there, but the deer have been hanging out there, and so I've seen it a few times where we have some fawns sitting there or laying on the ground, just laying on the ground in the kitchen eating the berries. So that's all right. Our gully is down here. That's where I had posted some pictures of those purple flowers with all the bees. There's just boatloads of bees down there. These are cranberry trees along the edges. So this is all stuff that I end up picking. It's like, holy cow. Give me some canning seals, man. Here's the gully. I'm not going to go into it because right now I'm barefoot, but here I've got a wood pile on which I grow mushrooms, and I'll have to pull out that picture of mushrooms that I got because I did end up with that wood pile had like 5 mushrooms on it that were dinner plate size shiitakes. It was just like super amazing. I've never seen shiitakes quite that big before, but that's what happens. These guys aren't doing real good, but they hang in there okay for the hot weather, and we don't do that wasting. You know, it's like in some places, yeah, we've got enough of those, so we're not going to waste water either. But here's some more cranberry trees, and still got some cranberries on here from before, from last year. Yay, fresh dried. But that's like bird and bee food. A lot of this ends up being, and that's what I'm fine with if I don't get everything picked. And I probably won't. But anyway, I wanted to let you know what I was up to. And again, we're coming in on that original entry spot. And I've been gone for Facebook for a long time. And so I just want to let you know that I love you and miss you. But farm life is busy. We just did a big barn clean out where we cleaned out an entire barn. And they give us like a couple weeks to do it. And I'm like, man, that's brutal. So we're getting to the end of that. Hopefully this weather cools off a little bit, and I'm lucky to have a nice morning this morning. I think it's going to probably get hot again today. We don't have air conditioning, and so I'm going to go in and make some ice because it is starting to heat up a little bit, and I need to put some shades on the windows too inside. Make some lunch. So anyway, I just want to let you know that I miss you and I love you, and I'll get online when I can, okay? Bye, goddesses. Bye, Eric shamans, all you great people. Have a really, really cool week, okay? Bye.